Hi, welcome to OpenRose, a free and open source requirements management application. Find more information at github.com/openrose. Today, we are going to talk about cloning baselines. Let's first go to the project, Barclays Tariff for Personal Customer project, and expand the project to see all its data. Currently, we have this first requirement, what's covered by the tariff, traced down to eligibility for Premier Banking, which is also traced further down to Premier Current Account, which is sitting inside borrowing from us. And the Premier Current Account also has a parent link to a parking lot item, which is nothing but Barclays mortgage arrangement fees. This is something Barclays is looking into, but it's not yet completely defined and approved. That's why it is sitting inside parking lot. So when I go jump over to it, we can see this requirement is sitting in parking lot. This particular requirement is also connected not only to Premier customer account, but also to student account or student additions as well. This student addition is nothing but a requirement sitting in the borrowing from us. When it comes to Premier current account, we can see that the eligibility for Premier banking is that the customer should have gross annual income of £75,000 or they should have a balance of £100,000 in the saving accounts. Okay, so these are the structure of data and the traceability in the current project. Now let's take the first snapshot. Let's go to the baseline inside the project and create the snapshot for the whole project. When I create the snapshot for the whole project, all the data that you see here will be included in the snapshot. Let's say this is January 2025 snapshot, and here is the description for January 2025 snapshot. Let's create this snapshot, and you can now see all this data is part of my snapshot, which is nothing but inside my baseline tree view, I can see all that data. Because Barclays mortgage arrangement fee is in the parking lot, we are not really going to deliver this as part of January 2025 snapshot. So we will exclude it from the list, which means Premier current account, which had traceability to Barclays mortgage arrangement fee, is not visible anymore because we have de-scoped that requirement, and same would be the case for the student additions as well, where you can see that mortgage arrangement fee is not visible as a traceability. Let's say we started to deliver against the set of requirements which were classified as January 2025, and we are coming to the end of the month and we figured out that certain business environment and decisions has changed in terms of how we want to deliver service to our customers. In that case, what we want to do is we want to take the second snapshot, but not from the current live project, i.e. we don't want to go back to the project here where requirements might have changed, traceability might have changed, it might have evolved further to capture new requirements, and it might have changed the structure, some description, some data, because requirements are fluid. They keep changing depending upon market needs, our services, our product, our team's decision, our funding, our availability of skill set to deliver against the requirement. So the project requirement may change further, but we do have a snapshot of January 2025 which was taken in the past. In that case, what we can do is we can go over to our baselines where we can see the January baseline itself, and we can say I want to clone the existing baseline, which means I just want to take another copy, but not from the live project. Rather, I want to take it from a previously taken snapshot. In this case, when I select clone existing baseline, I have a list of existing baseline here. And then I'm going to, let's say, call this as February 2025 snapshot. Description for February 2025 snapshot. When I create a clone of an existing snapshot and go inside the clone, then all the decisions we had taken for January 2025 up to this point will also be carried forward in February 2025. What I mean is the parking lot mortgage arrangement fees, which was excluded, i.e., it is not included. This decision was taken in Jan 2025 snapshot and it's now getting carried forward into Feb 2025 snapshot. When you look at Premier current account, again the traceability to mortgage arrangement fees will not be visible. Same for the student additions, where the traceability to something which is excluded from the baseline is not visible. Now we can make further more decisions for February 2025. Let's say we are not going to include these particular requirement for February 2025. So I'm going to exclude that. That's the difference between January and February snapshot. It can evolve independently. And now we can see under eligibility for Premier Banking, link down to the excluded requirement, which is Premier Current Account, is not visible anymore because this particular requirement has now been excluded. So you can take a snapshot of the snapshot to allow further changes based on the changes in the business environment and the changes in the circumstances for the product and services that you are delivering as part of the next snapshot. In this particular example, I just used months like January and February to represent different phases of deliveries and changes in terms of inclusion and exclusion of requirements, which is nothing but putting requirements in scope or out of scope for particular deliveries. The same can be done if you are taking snapshot by item type, which means if I go inside the tree view here, let's consider that this particular example is where we have a Barclays Bank, which is a very big organization, and they have a separate department, a department for debit card related activities, a department for loans and mortgages and borrowing from Barclays, perhaps also another department for investment banking, saving, and many other products. And what they want to do is they want to take a snapshot of particular area or particular item type that will be worked upon by particular department. So in that case, I can go into borrowing from us here, which is an item type as per the icon that we can see here. And then let's take a snapshot for that borrowing aspect. So create a snapshot by item type, and I'm going to select borrowing from us. And this is, let's say, loans, January 2025. And I'm going to just use description for loans for January 2025. Let's create a specific snapshot which is mainly for loans department or borrowing department, and then go inside the tree view. We can only see borrowing from us data. Now I can go ahead and decide inclusions and exclusions as required, and then I can actually go back to my project. Let's go into the project details. We have the borrowing from us or loans January 2025 snapshot, and we can clone that further more. So in February, we are going to say this is loans, sorry, not this one, but loans January, and it's loans February 2025, which is based on January 2025. Description for loans February 2025. Let's create that snapshot. And now I can go ahead in this snapshot and decide to include items which were excluded or exclude items which were included in the past. So now my February and January snapshots are evolving on independently, considering that we will have a loans department or borrowing department within the Barclays Bank who will actually work upon delivering these requirements. These are fine-grained, elucidated, and well-defined requirements that they are supposed to work on. Okay, so this is an example of how we can use OpenRose to capture baselines and then create baselines based on existing baselines. Any decisions that team has taken or users have taken during the baseline that was already been taken as a snapshot while they were executing on it or while they were negotiating about the delivery against that snapshot, those decisions will be carried forward in the next snapshot if you create it based on your previous snapshot or previous baseline, and you can make further more changes in terms of inclusions and exclusions of that subsequent snapshot data. With that, I would like to thank you for attending this session and also watching this video. With that, thanks a lot and have a great day. Bye bye.